Hello, welcome to MCC Today. I'm Lowell Martin. On today's show we have Dr. Huebner. It's going to be a great show. Stay tuned.
Become essential at Meridian Community College. Our community is changing, and at MCC, we are built for those who want to serve. Being essential has kept our community going. You can become that here, all at an affordable cost. Whether you dream of helping people through healthcare services or want to transport goods, connecting people with the products they need, we have many unique opportunities to help you find your purpose. Don't wait for change. Be the difference and register today. Become essential at Meridian Community College.
We don't learn about pandemics. Yeah. How are those classes? No, there's nothing about pandemics and how do you respond to a pandemic. And we read about pandemics and we think about them being in other parts of the world and we think about them as part of history, but who thinks about them as being part of today? And so, a lot of colleges have response plans for, I don't know, when the flu gets bad or, communicable diseases, and in fact we have items related to that, but this is at some different kind of a level, and so we end up just having to use good judgment, and we have to do everything we can to keep a student at the center. How do we address that need? And, the great thing about it is in a lot of ways, my leadership style is such that I'm not the king from on high declaring certain things. It's not how I operate. And so having that good leadership team who is comprised of people who are also responsive to their folks in their divisions, it's really important. It was really important to be able to have as much good information and to have, as best I could, my hand on the pulse of how every area of the college was thinking, feeling, responding, and so all of that to say, there was no playbook for it at all. On a personal level, I was very grateful for my leadership team, and people talk about work from home. We never worked from home. Never had a chance. We worked on weekends. We worked on Sundays. We worked on Saturdays, and sometimes we'd put in 7, 8, 9 hours on Sundays because we were trying to stay out in front of things as best we could, and not only learning about it, but when the federal government would pass a particular bill or a piece of legislation that would impact us, we had to have a full understanding of what that meant and how it could be interpreted in our context. And so it was difficult, but at the same time, I think it was good in other ways because we learned how to trust each other, and you learned how to make decisions where we think we are thinking about the student at the center all the time, but when you're put in a situation like this where it really is only about getting those students through classes, providing them the support they need, and then helping them in their next steps. How do you do that when you can't even look at them, right? So it really became, all these other things became extraneous as we focused on that, So I think when we look 5 or 10 years back, from now we look back, I think we'll see that we as an institution, as a state, other institutions, I think higher ed began to kind of define itself, and or not. So if you can't play in that sandbox, then you should probably not, So the important became the important, and so I think we'll look back and see that as a kind of defining moment for all of us.
But you were comfortable when you made your decision. You were comfortable with that decision?
No, heck no. So I'm sorry, Lowell. No. Did I appear to be comfortable?
No. What I was saying though is you looked at everything.
Yeah.
You talked to the people who knew. I don't mean comfortable in that. I mean you're like, this is the decision
Yeah.
And that you're looking, because the hindsight is 20/20.
Sure, absolutely.
But you're like, okay, this is what we have to do at this moment.
Well, Yes and no.
Okay.
So for example, when that initial decision was made, I remember like literally not sleeping for like 2 or 3 nights because I just wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. Now I came out, lines in the sand and draw things very confidently, and I felt like it was. And then as the days progressed, it appeared that it was a wise decision. So,
Sure.
And we tried to be out in front of things as best we could, and not be reactive, but be proactive. So, for example, one of the decisions we made early was to refund students room and board who were, and we made that decision weeks before many of our counterparts did. Now, we knew it was going to be a hit, costly, but it was also the right thing to do.
Sure.
So we kind of weighed the right thing to do versus the impact on it a lot. So it was also good in terms of helping to define our institutional values and the way we think about things. So, and then the other opportunity it gave us, though, is we've been able to move forward with some technological initiatives, with some resources provided by the federal government that related to, we hear people talk about the CARES Act, that I think are going to be transformational to our college. And so, when you think about
what on one of those committees, that was
Oh yeah, yeah. Did you? Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yes.
But some of those technologies that we're able to purchase that will help us be able to operate even better remotely, if necessary, will also improve what we do when we're not remote. So, so it was.
What do you say to the people who still say, "This is just like the flu"? This is just like, and I had a family member I was talking with yesterday.
Yep.
This is, why are y'all doing this? This is, and I, as I say, it's like I'm going to defer to the people who know much more about this than I do. What do you say to the people who
so there, some of the answer is that we defer to folks who know more about this than I do. And are trying our best to follow the guidance, the guidelines that are being shared on the state level by our state health director, Dr. Thomas Dobbs, with whom the presidents of the community colleges have met on numerous occasions. I've had many opportunities to talk with him. We throw ideas by him and get his feedback. It also includes guidelines posted by the CDC, and then of course when you are in constant communication with our counterparts at other 2-year schools in other states, 4-year institutions, and we're all struggling to make sure we make the right decision, trying to look at data the best we can to provide to look at that guidance on certain issues. And this fall, for example, we're meeting. We're moving forward with the face-to-face. Now, I think and others would know that we have emphasized and overemphasized the importance of wearing a mask. And we're hiding ours. You had one on. I've got one. Wearing a mask. In fact, we're providing masks for our faculty and staff, and we're going to provide masks for a student. And then we're going to require folks to wear them. Now, I'm well aware that some people would argue that you don't need to do that, and they can have whatever argument they want. Our state health director is suggesting this is a very proactive, a positive thing for us to do. We have, for example, in our frontline student services areas, provided plexiglass. I
saw that this morning.
And between the student and the employee. And of course, everywhere you turn, we have bottles of hand sanitizer.
Yes.
And we're doing things like, in addition to our regular cleaning, housekeeping personnel, we've employed a third party that's coming in and twice a day cleaning every bathroom on campus. So we're taking some very, very proactive steps to try to create, and of course signage, you've seen this, sticks, social distancing, and we're putting as much space between students as we possibly can in classrooms. We're offering options where a student can take an online, what we call high flex options, where a student can take a class and be taking that same class simultaneously online at home, so there doesn't need to be as many people in the classroom. So we're even going to be expanding that. But all of those things are designed to reduce the likelihood of transmission. So, I've read data on the flu question, and by the way, I hate it when the flu runs through a campus. That can be devastating, and so I've experienced that before, by the way, and that's
fun.
not pleasant either. So I don't want to diminish any kind of illness that can run rampant through a campus and hurt folks.
We still want people to be as safe as we can possibly.
We really do. We want them, and so I think kind of to that question, we're trying to resume things to be as normal as we can, with constraints. Now, for example, I know in what you're doing, we don't say, Lowell, this is what you will do today.
Right.
But within those simple rules, how to create an environment that is, and then we're trying to provide the tools and the resources for our folks to be able to implement those simple rules within their environment, so that, like, for example, in our student support services areas, our computer labs, wipe down computers and masks and distancing and all those things. But students still need help. They still need access to technology. They still need the support they need to be successful.
We want to give them that while being as safe as we can.
Right.
I'm going to stop right there so we
Sure.
can get a few commercials in, pay
Great.
bills, and we will be right back.
Thanks.
With so much uncertainty in our world, we are thankful for the heart and determination of those who have followed their calling in healthcare. They work tirelessly on the front lines every day to make a true difference in our community. At Meridian Community College, we take pride in training these heroes and are grateful for their service in this time of great need. These Eagles found their wings at Meridian Community College.
And we are back with Dr. Huebner, president of our esteemed college, that of course I love. I've been here a million years. We were talking about the COVID, but I have something else I wanted to ask you about, and that is we recently, a vote was taken on our state flag.
Right.
And you put out a statement to the college. And I just wanted you to talk about that some, and
Thanks
how
for
you
inviting
got to
controversy. So that's great.
That's what I do.
Is this worse than the flu? Now tell us about the state flag.
There you go.
Well, it's something that I've felt strongly about for a long time. I mean, I don't want to get too nerdy in this, but my background is in communication studies. My degree is my doctorate, and when you're starting to talk about symbols, right, which is part of, there's meaning attached to those symbols, and people interpret those symbols in different ways, in very powerful ways. And I would say, as proof of that, any argument about a flag, for example, proves that those symbols are powerful, and that lots of strong emotions attached to those. And so I've heard discussion about this topic for decades, since I've been in Mississippi, and so. Which, by the way, I always laugh. There are some folks who say, "Well, you're not from Mississippi." I'm like, "Well, I've lived here or been affiliated with Mississippi most of my adult life." So, it doesn't. In some ways, it might give me some objectivity about things, but knowing that there's value attached to symbols, and that meaning attached to symbols, and I just think, why that symbol? Why that symbol? We have obviously faculty and staff members, and we have students, and we have a community that don't see that symbol as a positive indicator of heritage, or it's filled with violence, and it's filled with hatred, and it's filled with oppression, and I think, why would we want to advocate for something that is perceived in that way by such a significant population of people with whom we work and people we serve? We're not history is history, and it's, so there's no, I don't understand that argument remotely. And I've studied this era, in graduate school, have graduate hours in Southern antebellum history,
Okay.
So this is something that I've been fascinated by for many decades. But to me, it's as simple as this. It was the right thing to do, and that meant that on a personal level, I had to do the right thing. So I know it's one step in a larger conversation that needs to take place, but it's a significant step.
Yes.
So,
yes.
So with that said, I did the statewide radio show, and I was the one who made the motion among the presidents to do this, to support this effort, and people need to know it was supported unanimously and quickly, and that it was like a weight was lifted off the shoulders of my colleagues, because we just went, yes, this is what we need to do. And sometimes it's difficult when we serve communities in the way we do, to be willing to take bold steps about things of that nature, because we know there's a diversity of opinions and thoughts. But at the end of the day, it was the right thing to do. And somebody said WWJD. I said, yeah, playing on my religious faith, like, what would Jesus do? Like I always think about, it was the right thing to do, and I have no hesitancy about. I had resolved that I was going to say something, make a statement, even if my colleagues wouldn't.
Were you surprised that it passed unanimously so quickly?
No, not at all.
You were.
So that's interesting. Is that I wasn't surprised at all. In fact, I'd spoken with a number of my colleagues who were excited about the opportunity as a body to be able to make a statement of that nature. And so again, it was the right thing to do. So I was pleased that we joined on. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that the community colleges have ever done that in the past, been so bold in that way. It's not really all that bold. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll just be honest with you, it's not even all that bold. But I don't know that we've been willing to step out on a limb in that way. But I was pleased, and I think Mississippi made the right decision. I do understand there's a diversity of opinion about it, but at the end of the day, it was the right thing to do. And like I said on the radio show, there's going to be a right side of history, and I want to be on it.
Sure.
And so it was a no-brainer to me.
I wonder in 5 or 10 or 20 years when people look back on it and they're like, duh, why didn't we do it? Yeah.
I think so. I think in some ways it's very significant, but in other ways, why did it take us so long?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think too. So, okay. But anyway.
Well, for the coming semester, which
yep.
we're getting ready for and geared for, and where students are coming back on campus a little bit at a time, and we're protected, and what can you give us? Can you foretell anything? What do you see happening?
Okay, so we're starting classes on August 17th. We're face to face with the restrictions that we've put in place, which include we're requiring folks to wear a mask. Mm-hmm. We're, like I said, putting hand sanitizer everywhere, having the bathrooms cleaned twice a day, practicing social distancing, certainly in the classrooms as best we can. And in certain cases, we're putting plexiglass partitions mm-hmm. up between folks. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to implement as many safety precautions as possible. We also have a contact tracing team and a contact tracing policy. Good. That will help us to be able to isolate and make good decisions.
If a student does test mm-hmm. positive,
sure.
do we have any protocol?
We do. We have protocol for that. In fact, I'd hope to send an email to that effect to our folks.
Okay. Yeah. We get a scoop?
You're going to get you're going to get the scoop. But yeah, we do. And so we've got personnel who are specifically assigned to help address concerns. Calvin Bennett, for example, with our students, is our contact tracing person, and he is as up on this stuff as anyone I know, and so does a good job. And then of course, if any personnel, we want folks to tell their supervisors, and then Angie Pickard in HR. But so we've kind of got a process outlined for that, and then so for example, we've had a case. We've actually had 2 cases already, and in both cases, well, in the first case, everything was fine. Nobody else tested positive, and because they were wearing masks. Mm-hmm. They had been in the same building for a while, but they were wearing masks, and they were very careful about what they touched, and so it was good. And in the second situation, we kind of implemented quickly in terms of to try to provide a safe environment. But we're being told by Dr. Dobbs and others, many others, that the distance, the mask, the plexiglass, all of that makes the risk of transmission minimal if you're doing all those things. So, and trying not to touch everything and touch everybody and touch yourself.
The students who come here, they're going to get their education, but they're going to be as safe as we can possibly make them. And of course, we're finishing the semester before Thanksgiving. Yes.
And then we're starting a term what we've had for a long time in the books called Merrimester. Mm-hmm. And so that we're going to have that Merrimester term. We probably will have a few more offerings than normal for the students. We know we're going to get bored celebrating Christmas for so long, and so.
No, it's horrible. It's horrible.
So
I'm getting some portable whiteboards for the for the Success Center, so that when we tutor, we can still be 6 feet apart.
See,
and
there you go. That's excellent. So yeah, a lot of different things folks are doing, which is wonderful. We're planning to have a good semester. At the same time, we're prepared for whatever we need to be prepared for. Mm-hmm. So
because it is ever changing.
It is ever changing, and so I, like in this FAQ document that I'm going to be sharing, people want to know, like, is the cafeteria going to be open? Well, we hope so. It will be open in some capacity. What does that mean? They're going to decide at the last possible second what that means, because they want to be fully operational. Sure. And so, and literally, as I made a joke, but it's true. Mm-hmm. Like what we decide this morning may not be applicable this afternoon. So, so we're just trying to. You make a decision too soon, then you got to change it back.
Well, I remember you saying at one point that y'all had some guidelines and things that you had put some people in charge of this and all that, and before you got the guidelines out there, everything had changed, and you had to come up with some new.
In fact, I had a really great committee led by Dr. Laura Lewis, who put together a little guideline book that was. I mean, we were literally go to print it, and then I'm like, whoa, stop, because the numbers started spiking again, and things began to change, and so it was. So now but it's okay. Sure. It's all right. As long as we're trying to stay out in front of it as best we can. But at this point, we are working hard to be able to make things as normal as possible this fall.
We have a lot of people a lot of good people who are working.
Oh my goodness!
To make sure that things are as normal and as good as possible. That's the key.
That's right.
As I said, and I've said this many times, I put my trust in these people.
No, that's right.
Do.
No, and you're one of them. I mean, like when you're just talking about, like the thing you're charged with. The Student Success Center, and again. Fundamentally important in the educational environment is the students to have the resources and support they need to be successful. And I'm turning to an initiative designed to kind of make that even a bigger, higher priority at the institution. And we've got a great team that's looking at that topic. And there's so many things we can do, should do, will do to help improve student success. But that's with COVID-19, that's without COVID-19. You know,
yes.
it's all that stuff that as an institution, we have to be willing to embrace change.
But sometimes it really is like fish hooks. You know, you pull one, you can't just get one out. It's like all kinds of things come out with that one.
Yeah.
Well, right now though, the biggest thing is for students to know that and parents to know that they're going to send their kids here.
Right.
They're going to be as safe as we can possibly make them. They're going to get their education.
Right.
And we're going to ensure that, you know, hey, wear your dang mask.
Wear your mask. That's right.
Wear your mask.
And so right. And so and that's going to be the case everywhere, you know.
Yes.
And I always tell folks, look, you can go to some very high, you know, expensive institution and have the same experience, or you can come here where if you're right out of high school and are from Lauderdale County, tuition guarantee, but the scholarships and the opportunities, you know, this is very affordable.
It is.
It's outstanding education. The classes transfer. You know, don't go spend a bunch of money somewhere. Come here. Come here and get. If you're going to do a gap year, do your gap year here. A lot of research supports that's the best option for students, and certainly if you're from Lauderdale County, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. And when you're done with that gap year, transfer to wherever you want to go. That's fine. You may decide to stay, finish the 2 years, but
you'll be surprised at what you learn here.
I think you would, and the friendships you make, and opportunities you'll have, the doors that will open. She probably wouldn't be happy about it, but my daughter, who just finished her freshman year, first year here at MCC, you know, I was like, she wasn't real excited about coming to the school where Dad was the president and all that kind of stuff. But I'll tell you right now, it's transformational for her. She has loved it. She's made the best friends of her life.
Good. She's
had great instruction. She talks about how wonderful her teachers and instructors have been. So it's like, you know, I have no doubt. It's my kid experienced it, your kid can too. So.
Listen, I want to thank you for coming on the show today, and I hope to have you on later in the semester.
Sure, absolutely.
So we can just kind of catch up on things.
Yeah, just whenever. You know, I like to talk. I know you do too, so we're good.
So we can pass a lot of time.
That's right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lowell.
We'll be right back.
The world is changing, but at Meridian Community College, our goals remain the same. MCC takes pride in giving you the best education right here at home. Now is not the time to stand still. You've worked so hard. You've accomplished so much. You will soar above this. Find your purpose and register now for summer and fall classes. Find your wings at Meridian Community College.
On behalf of Matt Milner, our executive producer, and me, thank you for watching MCC Today. We hope you have a really good week. See you later.